Now here we go. They're gonna be right now heading into the finals of the tournament. One-day Smurf tournament hosted by Rich. Thank you very much yet again, and let's see what we're gonna be getting. DM Frozen Waste as the first map. You can see it's gonna be a bit of a square one, as opposed to a bit of a like oval one, or rather circle one rather, that we have in Supremacy. Gonna be having both TCs on the left flank, with of course the gold mines spread out on the outskirts. And apparently starting with 2 gold mines each of them. Okay, so this is gonna be at this point going to be looking as Athena and Freya coming forward, because it's gonna be a bit different gods. It's gonna be of course right now the Zeus trying to maybe find it out. I'll be fairly curious how it's gonna be working out for him, as we are switching into best of 5, so he's gonna be taking 3 games to win. So you're gonna be having at least 3 good matches in front of us, if we're gonna be waiting for the victory of the match or in the match for somebody. I'm kinda liking, for example, the positioning of the TCs right now for MrChessoTowers, because he's having both of them fairly close by. So therefore, he's gonna be able to control both of them with 1 squad of army. At the same time, it could be also significantly backfiring, as if he manages to lose like 1 ground, he's gonna be losing it all. So that's something to be definitely keeping in mind and paying attention to. There's gonna be of course the free Hydra also coming forward. All the way to the left, that's gonna be right now Poofti being scouted by the Kataskopos, while of course Poofti was managing to build his buildings all the way to the right. Maybe he's gonna be also having another secondary build to the left side, but in the meantime he's going all the way to the top, as that is of course an important place because of the gold and overall for a bit of a side attack. So far it doesn't seem like that MrChessoTowers will be scouting that part of the map too much, as he's interested more in the TC and getting of course a few towers going, as he does seem to be having at least a small edge for the time being, with the heavy hoplites coming forward, and quite a nice usage in there of the frost by the frost giant, and he's gonna be getting rid of the Minotaur. That is getting quite a lot of damage from this dude, like actually 40 per hit. That's a massive attack. Now obviously most of the myth units have bonuses against other myth units, as it seems that right now this is gonna be of course the timing with the Hera already in. He obviously doesn't have the lightning storm yet. It's gonna be coming only later, because imagine getting it now exactly into the push. That'd be rather massive. Completely athlete. As enable myth unit hack or pierce attack. Yeah, read of Nekebet, that's not entirely something that's going to be extremely important here. Just maybe for some more points for your score in there, as there's another relic though right nearby. Better cavalry movement speed, that could be a bit different, as you might be seeing a few horses later if everything is gonna be going according to plan, I guess in. But well, nonetheless, this is not going exactly all that great for the Norse yet. He's at least getting plenty of towers. As the hill fort is finished in the end, it's gonna be keeping him safe here for the time being. So while the hill fort was a bit sketchy, it's probably not gonna be all that massive problem for him. Whereas on the way to the left, a few towers coming forward, with MrChessoTowers himself trying to exactly counterplay these. It doesn't seem like he's all that happy to be seeing them there. Fortunately, not noticing too well. There's gonna be a second TC already for MrChessoTowers for more population limit, but obviously he's completely oblivious to the build up by Poofti on the right flank, and you can see he's basically well naked from the right side here. That's not entirely all that great. That's not really entirely all that great or awesome, but well, we're gonna be seeing if he's gonna be punished or not, as we are looking at the Medusa killing, and right now even just basically toppling the Frost Giant as she was walking around, and that's a way more Medusa at this point coming forward. Damn, that seems like a bit of a special strat. Special strat on the way. As you can see, this DC, no, I don't want to be saying that it's gonna be actually finished yet, because obviously right now there are gonna be plenty of insta-kills on the units, especially if he's gonna be using it properly against, for example, the Frost Giants. Because I mean, there are really tons of Medusa here. It's a very interesting strategy, quite an unusual and unorthodox one, but obviously this kind of attack from the top could be quite a nasty surprise. This is only Zeus, so therefore, well, difference is 140 hit points on the TC. Is not exactly all that much, but nonetheless, it is pretty much quite fine. Okay, so there we go. This is gonna be about now resulting into probably quite a good luck here in stopping the TC even fully. So very well played right now with MrChessoTowers, as Poofti is gonna be trying to sneak in the TC on the left side, at least for the time being. But in the meantime, he's also gonna be going for a full assault to the top. You can see notice at the last second by the Bellerophon, but it's also almost dead, as the frost is coming all the way to the top. We're gonna be freezing all the army that is available, and therefore the chances are that this might be actually working out, even though with the villages and so many of them being still there, it's gonna be kinda safe for the time being. No, probably gonna be quite hard to take it down for Poofti, because he's right now getting at least a few rams. The Helepolis is coming forward, so it should be fine for the defense, but not entirely as simple as I thought originally that it could be. Yeah, Western log, exactly like for Buksake is saying. I'm having basically the mod for showing upgrades on the units. So that's like the only graphical mod that I'm using. So it's kind of helpful in exactly seeing which kind of units are upgraded, which aren't. Because it, for example, also reflects armory upgrades. So once you get copper weapons, then they're gonna be basically having some kind of shiny weapons in their hands and stuff like that. And thank you for the follow, Cosbus, a bit earlier. So of course you're gonna be right now expecting a bit of a okay, bit of a strong army. You can see that the Frost actually did quite a lot of damage. In the meantime, though, the 30C has been already done. So there's gonna be yet again a bit of an opportunity for right now MrChessoTowers to destroy even the extra build order, or the build order, and build up all the way to the right flank. Into the right flank, as the TC is right now finished there, it seems like that everything is fairly safe at this point. Or right about now, Poofti. He's gonna be having quite a solid army right now, aiming forward. Plenty of towers already up, but not entirely all that, like many of them still yet. It's gonna be quite a good opportunity for Poofti to maybe do something a bit more. You can see there's gonna be another build up all the way to the left side, as this one is still kind of present. Not entirely fully cleaned up by blue. Now he's gonna be sending just a few hoplites right now to finish with that. And all the way to the top, a few Ulfsarks to maybe do something a bit more. Now, okay, so there we go with Forest Fire. That's gonna be, of course, destroying tower and also right about now the archer range. So that's, no, the tower doesn't seem to be really dying all that quickly. 6 points on it. So maybe it's gonna be standing in the end. But, well, no. Lightning Storm, of course, is gonna be right now changing the dynamic quite significantly, as it seems like MrChessoTowers is under quite a bit of a pressure here. Quite a bit of a pressure indeed. Well, at any rate, quite an interesting assault. Obviously, with all the damage right about now apparently spent, you can see that even cannot be using it anymore. So not any kind of damage left in that god power. It's pretty much right now a safe situation for MrChessoTowers. He's gonna be able to clean up the one build up on the right side, but the one to the left is gonna be getting a bit more funny, and the villages, when they're gonna be exactly noticing. We'll see, who knows? Who knows indeed, as we're right now gonna be looking into the bottom, as I can see also some informed guesses who the place actually could be at this point. So you seem to be kinda coalescing the idea there, and aiming for basically only two names. Kind of like the common names, it seems like, that are usually meeting in the end stages of the tournament. So it's gonna be right now bronze with restoration on top of it. Quite an interesting combination, because the restoration is gonna be basically like an insta extra army, and with all the extra defenses in there, it will be resulting into Poofti having to retreat. But with all the towers, look at that insane amount. With only one hill fort though. Probably could be using a few more of them. Maybe like at least here all the way through back. So right about now with the extra defense, for example, the hoplites are gonna be with bronze 74% melee armor and 66% pierce armor. Look at you can see how insane actually bronze is on fully upgraded units. In fully upgraded units in late game, and therefore in the deathmatch. Now, so of course gonna be looking into bit of a push to the top side, but not entirely all that successful. So far it seems like that MrChessoTowers is gonna be having the game in a bit better control. It's definitely not decided yet. So obviously it's gonna be taking quite a lot of effort to really deal with it still. There's gonna be at least one hill fort gone, but a few more are gonna be still available. Plenty of ramps, but unfortunately they're gonna be coming into north. Otherwise the resources are getting already quite a bit lower for both of the players, so maybe the battles are gonna be getting a bit more normalized maybe, or something along those lines. Something along those lines. So obviously here this is gonna be actually tower yet again gone. Just gonna confirming how well off MrChesso is. You're gonna be already waiting with secondary army. It apparently quite nice upgraded bows of the Medusae. You can see with Bacchanania, Face of Gorgon, Monstrous Rage. But that's gonna be about it. You're having kinda cool bows when they are upgraded into Matriarchs. Some kind of silver bows maybe, or something along those lines. And you just right now dropping that. As to the top, that's gonna be a few horses. You can see a bit of an establishment of the fortress, but those two horses could be actually eliminating all of them, as the building is taking quite a bit of time to come up. And it also kind of depends if he's gonna be noticing, but right now he is. He was just looking into that part of the map, as you need to be looking back to the left battlefield, where it seems like that. No, I was going to say that maybe Poofti is having slight edge, but in the end, gonna be probably thinking better of it. It seems only temporary, and in the end the power of the Greek units is gonna be right now coming through here, with the trade already starting to the top, and that's gonna be of course the reason why the map is not oval or circle as we have in Supremacy, but rather square, so that you can be exactly establishing those trade routes and continue in the game still. Well, okay, of course, to the top, this is gonna be right now the few Usangs that were hidden here in the corner. Trying to establish a few military buildings here for the push. But it seems like it has been noticed quickly enough. You can see even a few Jarls. That's a unit we haven't seen too often in the tournament from the Norse players, so it's maybe a bit of a surprise, but yep, quite well done with the hoplites. It's gonna be right now cleared. One goes to the top, and of course a few villages, and this is definitely not possible. There is a tree here. But he apparently had to try. Well, at any rate, they're gonna be right now hoplites coming forward. He's gonna be trying to bolt one of the fire giants. Nice idea, as he's gonna be, of course, destroying the hill fort without any kind of question. And is he gonna be able to get rid of the TC? It seems to me that he could. As there's the army right now from Poofti to the top side. That's not gonna be doing anything at all. Seems to be a whole lot more concentrating on the gold villages. And it will be costing him... No, that should be too hasty. I was going to say that it should be working out. But yet again, I'm still not used to the power of late game units in the end. And in Supremacy, you're having different, of course, effects in the game going on, and therefore it's a bit different. As you're looking at the resources, fine for both, population limit also being kept, so they seem to be having fairly equal echo and like the production capabilities and options. You can see that here there are gonna be more hoplits coming forward, so I'm thinking that unless Red is gonna be right now returning back, he might be losing this TC one of those days. As for example, right now the special attack in here, you can see, yet again, insta-destroying that mountain giant or the fire giant is rather effective, whereas through top, just a bit of army. But Heracles is dealing with that with a bunch of friends. And it doesn't seem like that Poofti should be exactly pushing through that all that competently. So here the gold is still open. Doesn't seem like that Poofti yet again will be able to stop that. But he's probably gonna be right now playing on this quite a bit. And on the hill fort for a few rams to go from the back into the main TC. And of course, he's gonna be right now resulting into a bit of a defense, a successful one, but still the hit points are quite a bit lower. You can see 1000 hit points less. So if Poofti is not gonna be repairing it, then obviously a bit of problem. But the important part is that Poofti is already established with trade. That hasn't been really raided yet. And it's right now carrying for him about 75 gold, whereas right about now blue. That means MrChessoTowers is having a trade only here, which is gonna be giving him like 6 gold. Literally 6 gold. He needs to be really producing the market somewhere maybe there. Or actually even there. He's having quite a sad trade route actually, considering how the map is controlled for him. So this is looking really good for Poofti. He might be able to punish him for that. The trade has been established a whole lot better for the red, but still is wide open. So the chances are that maybe he could be getting punished for that is if MrChessoTowers is gonna be interested or even thinking about it. But here we go with the Ragnarok. You can see massive amount of units right about now coming forward. How many? 96, so about like 80 rack. We can be actually seeing it pretty much more reliably here. With about like 95 to 20, so like 75 rack probably. Seems somewhere along those lines, but it might be actually enough. He does have the trade. He does have some resources. His opponent's having solid enough resources himself, and he doesn't have that many towers all across the bases. But right now, if for example this fortress gets finished, now that would be a bit of a break deal or the deal breaker. But of course with the back attack right now continuing forward with a few rams on top of it, you obviously cannot get anything new now. He can be probably significantly housing his opponent here, and that might be well worth it and well victory condition, because right now in the middle there are plenty of towers at least prepared. You can see it basically turned this into a starting TC, even though it's not. So with all the towers in basically all the corners of the world. So this is gonna be falling. I don't think there's a question about that. All the way to the top, that's gonna be a bit of a massacre of these. So they are sacrificed as a diversion. Whereas in the main base, just basically houses falling all together. You can see there's gonna be of course messing up with all kinds of population limit for MrChessoTowers, and it's gonna be long term though, because the TC is gone in the middle. But right about now, the Rams are also gone. So that's gonna be right now resulting into Poofti. Wow. That Ragnarok really melted quickly. And now it's down to 160 population limit. Which is still quite a lot, because you mustn't forget that basically all the population limit for the villages transform into Rorak. So right now this is basically just pure army of 160. So obviously MrChessoTowers is gonna be a whole lot lower. But he's also gonna be having quite excellent counter units with the Hippaspis. Not the Hoplites, but Hoplites are always quite a solid unit, the backbone of the Greek army obviously. As we are right now looking at still a bit of units coming up still. You can see the fortress attempted. It seems like quite a good idea how to establish back the map control. So of course the trade is still there, but is he gonna be able to right now recuperate with the villages? He does have already them clicked in. You can see he's actually kicking them manually. Not every single time onto the hotkey, it seems like to me. But, well, he doesn't have the trade protected, so I'm thinking that MrChessoTowers will be having a chance to maybe punish him for that. As obviously that is gonna be right now fully relying on it, as his economy is completely down the drain at this point, and if he's not gonna be able to really keep his opponent busy with the units that he has left, then quite obviously this is gonna be, no, probably the end even for him. Okay, so there we go. I kinda keep it down in there with the flaming in the chat, so don't even start with that unless you want to be having some timeout. Not really interested in this part of the community. So you're gonna be, of course, right now still waiting if something like this is gonna be working out, but I'm not really all that optimistic. The gold is though gone. You can see the trade is gonna be at 37 gold here, so that's rather solid. You can see that this is gonna be already pushed back against Poofti. So I'm thinking that this Ragnarok did not work out, and MrChessoTowers is gonna be, well, probably able to claim a victory here, because I'm not really seeing how Poofti could be getting back of this and back out of this soon enough and solid enough. I don't see that working out. Yep, there's gonna be, of course, the attempt on the TC backup for MrChessoTowers. That's MrChessoTowers, and yeah, of course, forcing him right now to fall back. And with the economy right now having a problem to even come up, because he doesn't even have food for that. He would have to be right now buying a bit of food from the trade profit that he has. This is looking really pretty terrible at this point for Poofti. Let's see if he's gonna be able to, of course, block the gold here. Problem is that, no, it depends if he's gonna be able to, for example, stop the trade here as well. Maybe that still could be a legit way to victory. Because yet again, the trade hasn't been even discovered by MrChessoTowers. He hasn't paid a single visit to it. So if he's gonna be able to stop right now the gold, and with that, also the trade. Oh, that's not entirely all that like stupid and impossible. But obviously with the granulation guard towers here, they're gonna be making short work of all the horses with proper micro. And the Medusae, of course, completely insta-killing everything that is right now coming in. Yep, it doesn't seem like he's gonna be successful, unfortunately. And while he's waiting for some kind of better timing, it's also gonna be waiting for better timing for MrChessoTowers, who has already finished with the TC yet again. Okay, so is he gonna be right now wanting to go for the assault yet again and immediately? I mean, like, he definitely should be rebuilding, no, not the market, but rather some kind of defenses here. Still, the fortress was nice to protect the trade for a bit more and a bit more reliably. Apparently, nothing is getting built here to the top. Now, through bottom, there's still gonna be a bit of gold available for the dwarfies, for Poofti, and he's gonna be trying to move forward through the middle. Yet again, trying to assault the TC. Two Guardian Medusae, though, are kind of close by. As you can see to the top, there are going to be a few raiding cavalry, but apparently, oh, that might be a bit of an overreaction here by MrChessoTowers. He's probably thinking that his opponent is going to be coming there with absolutely everything to stop the trade. I mean, like, that's not a bad thought. Not a bad thought, but still, in the middle, I'm not all that sure that he's going to be able to actually get rid of this, because there are way too many Medusae to control, and of course micro against the 5 giants. So probably this is going to be quite a hard sell for Poofti being able to take down the TC. In the meantime, of course, the army that has already made its way all the way to the top is going to be able to get rid of the build order, or the build up to the back. So all the buildings are going to be gone after this little visit with the hoplites, or are they? Because those, I mean, like, those throwing axemen here, they cannot do, of course, pack a bit of a punch, but obviously compared with the Toxotai, they don't exactly have that too much. They should be working out in the long run, at least. As obviously that is right now gonna be having to fall back, and this is already seeming like well in power of MrChessoTowers. But we have already seen similar situations before, where it wasn't necessarily all that much of a case. Now this can be now resulting into, the Medusa Matriarch still being pretty much an MVP. You can see Bellerophon is gonna be, of course, putting a stop to all of this. Kind of funny that actually he's gonna be turned into stone also with his shields and swords, because it would be maybe making sense if he was turned into stone only like living flesh. I'm not entirely certain how it is in the mythos, how that little detail is described, if it is even ever described. But finally, there's gonna be raiding onto the trade all the way to the left. And he's gonna be heading slightly back, because he has noticed all those caravans. So gonna be stopping the trade here completely, with Poofti obviously having a bit hard economy going. So obviously needs to be still rebuilding post Ragnarok, but he at least does. This wasn't finished? Really? Wow, that's a massive mistake by MrChessoTowers, that he didn't pay more attention to this to get rid of that. You can see how he's gonna be kicking him in the butt. As right now he managed to stockpile enough rams there. As the TC is gone, there's gonna be probably nothing all that much else here. Maybe even the fortress is gonna be at least falling, because he doesn't have too many villages. He really does not, but well, Still seen, of course, plenty special attacks right now by the Medusae, doing well in the defense, but destroying the TC, and also right now the fortresses, that's actually fairly influential, with more and more villages flocking right next to the town center, trying to finish it up, as of course the gold is gonna be running out for Mr. Poofti, as he's down to 281, and does he even have a secondary right now market? There's gonna be one attempted to be made right next to the TC. Definitely not ideal. Should be also trying to make one all the way to the top. So at this point it's looking like a bit of a setback. Small setback for MrChessoTowers, because with the trade going for it, he's probably gonna be having significant problems continuing playing. He does have, of course, still a few dwarfies, not only here, but also all the way to the top side. So that's kinda like fine from that point forward. And looking at that, we're gonna be having 695 there. Yeah, well, the economies are kind of straightforward. You can see the pop limit, obviously, right now for blue is gonna be a bit of a problem, as he's gonna be just trying to finish with the second TC. But it doesn't seem to be giving enough advantage to Poofti to really do anything significant with that too much. Yeah, definitely for Buxak, as you're saying. It's kind of strange that the map control is not entirely all that present here in this game. They are not really basically controlling the corners all that well, stopping the trades and everything along those lines, so it's slightly strangely played. A bit more carefully by MrChessoTowers, because he is kind of like having the safer one, and it's still solid. I mean, like 36 gold, it's not too high, but for the safety, maybe it could be actually working, if he can be keeping the units up, which so far he can. And at the same time, it's also a good point in there by Western Long, that they don't have extremely strong economy. So therefore, the expansion is not entirely all that easy for them. It can be easily punished by the strong units that they have. Let's gonna check into the economies actually now. You can see about 90 villages for Poofti. He's actually really damn quickly back. You can see he's already even better right now than MrChessoTowers. So I think he might be having another long game on our hands. That definitely has all the makings for it. Just gonna depends if maybe Poofti is gonna be able to reestablish the trade. He's trying to do so exactly to the top. So maybe if he does, then the smaller trade route for the Zeus might be becoming a bit of a liability. But more and more fortresses around here, the TC, as finally he got rid of the build up to the top. That should be keeping it safe, or keeping it safer than he was before, and therefore making it a bit easier maybe to push through the middle, and maybe do something with the enemy trade there. Okay, so we are gonna be right now waiting for a bit of a switch in momentum, I'm guessing, because there are a few more raiders coming after the villages here to the top, trying to stop the food economy. Not entirely something that MrChessoTowers would be having a problem with, looking at the resources, with Poofti being kind of close by there as well. As we can, of course, expect. No, we cannot expect actually a raiding, because we don't see too much of a raiding on gold mines and anything. For example, even this one could be potentially available for Poofti, because I don't exactly see all that much of a reason why not. There was a bit of a fun going on with military academies and even markets. But obviously Poofti was there a bit faster. Gonna be trying to wall. He can obviously cannot wall everything, because we do have eyes on the outskirts. Let's go back to the battlefield. This is gonna be so far going reasonably fine, it seems to me, for Chessotowers. Even though tower has been attempted to be finished by Poofti, as obviously the archers are yet again gonna be having quite a powerful attack against any kind of building that is gonna be coming up. And the Medusae are just kinda liking them. When I was playing back those 17 years back, or whatever it was, I was playing Supermassive, I wasn't playing DM obviously, then Hera was basically quite a bit of a meta. Even way more than Hephaestus. So I was really liking Medusae. That was my favorite unit. And if you are able to really micro them properly, then they are extremely powerful. And they even do have quite a solid attack. I mean, like 500 with the upgrade onto Matriarchs. And all the upgrades that you have from Hera into the Monstrous Rage and stuff like that. Where is some kind of other Hydra, please? Or the Medusa. So far not crawling anybody, or anywhere. She was having massive, of course, 500 hit points, 20 attack, and she's also having pretty decent defense. So with the special attack being an insta-kill, she's rather powerful and not really to be underestimated. I mean, like, she was a feared beast in the mythos back in the ancient ages, and not for any kind of small reason. All the way to the left, let's get about now push of MrChessophilus, or Chessotowers rather. Yeah, the MrChesso is just completely confusing me all the time. Just was waiting when I'm gonna be calling him different name than he actually is, having the Smurf here. But we're gonna be right now looking into quite a solid raiding into the economy. Let's see if it's gonna be hurting red. Potentially could. Potentially could, as the economies are really kinda strained for both of the players here. in the finals between MrChessoTowers and Poofti. And well, apparently a bit of a Frost Giant coming up, but Heracles is gonna be having a bit of a different idea about his survival here. See, of course, the 640 hit points, quite a massive damage against Myth unit 600 plus. So he's basically effectively doing about now 7 times this, so that means 70 and like 105 damage against them. And basically you need to be, of course, deducting the defense that they have, the units. So obviously it's not the full 100, but it's still quite a massive number. You can see 55%, so like 50 damage is gonna be done per hit to Giant. Yeah, exactly, as you can see, about 50 damage. And Bellerophon right now closing it up with the special attack at the very end. So that was a bit of an interesting push. You can see that DC is basically half health, so on the next attack maybe it could be falling. So Poofti better be careful about all of it. So there are gonna be right now plenty of champion Toxotai coming ahead, trying to push forward as much as he can. But there's also plenty of right now throwing axemen being in reserve as they were dealing with raiding to the bottom side. It seems that it's gonna be fine with market and trade is still continuing. You can see there's gonna be some small attempt on another sneak on another gold mine here. And it seems like it's not gonna be working too well. But it's at least standing for the time being. So we are apparently in another stalemate. Bit of a volume finally coming on by MrChessoTowers. So I'm kind of thinking this is another game that could be going an hour. So far looking at that, because we are post-track. We are just basically at the times that nobody is going for anything all that extremely tactical. Only right now MrChessoTowers seems to be slightly moving ahead with a few hoplets to maybe surprise the TC from the right flank, maybe even the back TC. That definitely can be going on. As for example, the gold is gonna be soon out, and he's gonna be trying to switch there, which might be kinda costing him a bit. At the same time, if he's gonna be having enough trade at that point, he might not be mining all that much, because it would be just basically more population limit for army. Quite easily, and quite indeed. And I'm kinda also thinking of Western Long that it would be slightly better to be having some Huskarls. We really haven't seen them like the whole match and the whole day. Not really too many of them that have been used. Bit curious. There, it is what it is, and how it is, and how the players are deciding to play it. Now, so we are looking into, some Petro balls finally. Bit of a defense, of course, with all the walls, with the villagers trying to desperately repair it sooner before it's gonna be getting destroyed. Oh, well, there we go. Petrobolas doesn't have the wall properly, and obviously even right now the throwing axeman will be in range anyway. But it's still certainly some kind of idea that could be working out, especially if you're gonna be having a few more hoplites coming forward into the battlefield. So far the auto queues here are turned off. To the left we don't have anything else there. The hill fort is gone for red. And we basically right now resorting to only one battlefield in the very middle without anything else and anywhere else going on the map. So yep, can't see both of those actually getting frozen, or rather turned to stone, sorry, at the same time. So yeah, I'm thinking we are in a bit of a stalemate again. Can see a bit of Ulfsars coming up as he switched a few of the dwarfies into the Ulfs. He's gonna wait now, trying to get a hill fort. Maybe a bit of a sneak through. Definitely can be working out. Obviously he can be also going just around. Doesn't need to be necessarily hacking through. This hill fort is obviously gonna be quite a bit more of a problem in that. But otherwise it seems like in the middle MrChessoTowers is getting a bit of an edge. Oh well, now this is still standing here. I kind of wonder if one of those days MrChessoTowers is gonna be trying to finish that. You can see the resources about 600 and 600 with 37 and 59. We're gonna be comparing them together. Then they're gonna be having right now similar population limit. They're gonna be having also fairly similar resources, only just basically a bit more for ChessoTowers. Seems to be having a bit stable echo, a bit more stable echo rather. I mean, like Western Long, yeah, that's a good point, that the game maybe not gonna be too long because the gold is gonna run out. Problem is they're not exactly raiding the trades, so that's kind of where I'm gonna come in from more. I mean, sure, the gold is gonna be running out, but the trade is not attacked by either side at this point. Obviously, there are plenty of caravans in the middle. There are caravans all the way to the left side as well. But with the TC right now being under such a heavy assault, it almost seems like maybe it could be even falling. Just gonna be needing a bit of nudge by the Petro balls there. And with right now the wall repaired, yep, the TC is gonna be down. I don't think this is gonna be right now able to be handled by Poofti. It seems to me that Chesso is gonna be able to take it down. Obviously with the solid defense that he's still having a few units forward and even the tower there. So this is looking kinda bad for Poofti. all the way to the right flank. He still does have the hill fort, and he's trying to go for a bit of funny build-up. Yet again with the Rams, but unfortunately has been noticed. So it seems like it may be one of those days the Hoplits are gonna be strong enough, with more of them coming from the right battlefield, or from the military academies in there, and maybe trying to sneak somewhere into the TC. One by one, or something along those lines. Could be. But yeah, well, right now needs to be quickly repairing town center, but it seems like it's not gonna be working out all that well. With 2 Petroboli in there, that's gonna be strong enough, and town center is going to be down. With the coinciding population limit, of course. So that should be something that MrChessoTowers should be right now cooperating, or concentrating on and trying to use, because he's right now quite interesting right now, wobbling forward and snaking forward with the Medusae, and could be of course sending villages forward yet again, and to try maybe to claim the ground here. Looking at the population limit on the civilians, it's absolutely the same. So that's gonna be right about now, meaning that really Poofti is having effectively a lower amount of units at this point. Obviously the difference is that we are seeing so many Medusae, because they are taking a lot of pop limit 5. And we don't see too many myth units, for example, for the opponent. So obviously that's gonna be resulting into more normal units. So it's just a question if maybe the insta-killing is gonna be enough of an advantage right now for him. But yeah, well, more and more hoplits coming forward and trickling forward into the battlefield with apparently a few archers to the top. I kinda aiming for right now all those caravans. Yeah, right now carrying how much gold? 77. That's obviously kinda more than about like a double of MrChesso what he's having. And he's also gathering plenty of gold at this point. So yeah, this could be quite a significant difference. Because right now Red is gonna be running out of gold. He's down to the last 1,000 on the mine. So in the middle he's gonna be having insane problems getting the TC back up. He's gonna be of course expecting still a push forward. Yeah, I'm thinking this is gonna be slowly taken from Poofti's hands at this point. He's gonna be trying to do what he can with the towers, but just the extra population limit will be helpful, and it doesn't matter that the TC is gonna be designed from, or denied from Chesso. Problem is that he himself cannot get it. That's a huge issue, or the bigger issue than anything else. As of course all the way to the left the trade is gonna be a bit more challenging. Maybe could be turning them into a few oofs. If he has the resources for that, he kinda has. Fortunately he lost the Ox card. It's gonna be a new one, probably insta-sniped by ChessoTowers. He's gonna be paying enough attention. You can see that actually blue is having a bit of a problem in there, but it's already gonna be called a GG. And yeah, this breakthrough is gonna be strong enough. And the Medusae, well, they're gonna be claiming a victory in the first game. 31-minute game to begin the finals with. Well, and since we are in the best of 5, we might be having actually quite a longer final on our hands. Let's see. Let's see about all of that. We're gonna be heading into game number 2. That is gonna be chosen home map by Poofti. So let's see what he's gonna be choosing. If it's gonna be yet again the Colosseum, or how is it called, or Olympus. Definitely a bit of a chance for him. Let's check the post game then. It's going to be right now, of course, quite a bit of an edge to the top, but otherwise the gold much better for Poofti. He was having excellent trade route for the longest time, as opposed to MrChessoTowers, but even that yet again wasn't going to be enough. About like 25,000 resources more for Poofti, and even that's not gonna be helping him breakthrough. You can see similar units skilled, military count quite a bit different. You can see a whole lot more of a meat grinder, obviously allowed by the 25,000 resources more for Red. And 23 Medusa Matriarchs, quite a good counter to Fire Giants, and obviously any kind of other units as well. Okay, that's gonna be the first game of the finals, so GG, and let's head into game number 2.